darlings, it's Michaela. This is pre-workout. So I wanted to make a YouTube video about a Facebook Live that we did earlier this week about when to work out when you are having summer fun, when you have more plans, when you have more outings with more people, and suddenly it's like you just have more fun stuff to do, but yet you're still trying to maintain the habits and or the lifestyle that you really wish to uphold. What do you do? So I just thought to kind of like make a little list and maybe kind of start at one end of the spectrum, and offer some possibilities that might be useful food for thought for any given individual. So when to work out, if this is something that we're really aiming to do, but suddenly we have more fun obligations, number one is to put your plans around your workout. So what that means is like, you know, Jen, like I'm not gonna be available until 10 on Saturday. I'm not gonna be available until noon. I'll meet you later. I'll drive separately. I'll, whatever. Maybe it's not a big deal. What you can also do is if it's like the ferry leaves at 9, Michaela, you know, it's like everyone needs to be on it. Make your workout happen earlier in the day. And what that means is, truthfully, it's like you go to bed earlier, you get up earlier, you make it work for you because it feels good, because it helps you to have more of the stuff that you want, and then you join the rest of your family and friends at the set time that everyone needs to go. All right? Number two in this is really to make your plans active. If it's like, you know, days on end of being with particular people, or if it's like, you know, we're starting at this time, we're ending at this time, like there's no room for me to go to the gym or go for whatever, is to make your activity, make your plans active. So incorporate a walk, go in the ocean, swim, play the games, you know, frisbee, football, chase, say yes to the children that are like begging for you to like run around with them. And whether it's like, you know, honestly like at the seashore, or you're in a new city or country or village, walk, see new things, move around, like choose to go by foot. Do it alone at the beginning of the day. I've done that myself. No one's gonna miss you if everyone's still asleep, or just, you know, kind of coming to, or incorporate the people that you're with. And then it's like you get to have this fun experience with them as well, and they get to benefit from the thing that you're also benefiting from. All right? Number three is deciding not to work out. And it's like, well, what are you even talking about, Michaela? Like, that sounds crazy. And this is actually really part of a bigger conversation. This is such an important thing to actually really digest and to develop. So it doesn't matter what you do, it matters what you decide to do and follow through on. And the reason why that's actually so consequential is because a commitment is a promise. And if we make a commitment to ourselves and then we back out, like shit can happen for sure. But if we find ourselves saying, oh, I'll do this, and then we don't do it again, what we show ourselves is that we actually can't trust ourselves. And when we can't trust ourselves, we don't trust ourselves. And that's when they're like, oh shit, I'm scared to have cookies in the cupboard because I don't trust myself. So a way to develop the muscle of keeping commitments, follow through, trusting yourself, is to stick with the thing. And that literally could be, I'm not doing the thing. Either commit to doing it or commit to not doing it. And either way, you start to kind of strengthen this muscle that lets you know that you can count on yourself. And I will just vouch for my own personal experience is that it is powerful to practice this, and then it makes it so much easier for you to follow through on more things. It's really awesome. All right. So number 4 is to remember the fact that in regards to weight loss, diet is number 1. Exercise has all sorts of benefits in terms of hormonal balance, stress reduction, brain conditioning, memory enhancement, cognitive abilities. What do I want to say? It's fabulous for our health. It's fabulous for our waistline. However, diet's still number 1. So if the effort is to either, maintain the progress that you've created while you're away, or to even keep it going, being conscious about what you're eating, how much you're eating, how often you're eating. This is a fat burner thing for sure. Should you wish to know anything more about that, please check out the 5 parts of fat burning. Makes weight loss easier and weight gain harder. And also alcohol. And so this is something, what I'm just gonna suggest is to to literally pick your poison. And what that means is decide when you're gonna do what. And what I wanna say is that basically, you probably don't wanna drink every day, all day. Like some days, yeah, that sounds so fun. Or maybe at one part of the day, depending on your nature and your company. But less is more. And so the ultimate goal is never to feel deprived, but to be conscious. And so if it's like for fat burners, we do intermittent fasting. We tend to have like a more moderate lunch. We tend to use a particular shake, often a bar, in Fat Burning Pro. Should you wish to know more about that, just follow that link along. And then we tend to have a more robust dinner, which is when people tend to socialize. But if it's like we're gonna have brunch, we're gonna have a sexy breakfast, we're gonna have like an amazing lunch, we're gonna have this big ass dinner, and it's like maybe you do that, maybe you want to do that, and maybe you don't want to do that. And so decide where the indulgence or the abundance will be. And then also with alcohol, that puts fat metabolism on hold. So it's like you probably don't want to always be processing this and kind of neglecting the things that you really want to be having happen. So again, like maybe it's every night, maybe it's a couple nights over your week, maybe it's whatever, maybe it's a glass of wine one night and it's like a little more of like a well, hey, like we're going for it. However that works, but basically diet's number 1. So if we can be a little more conscious about that and not just like, obsess about one thing that actually matters less, you're gonna be in better standing. Let's see, number 5 is don't worry about it. And what that means is that like it's one moment in time, like it's not that big a deal. And so with this, listening to your body is actually what's most important. And so essentially, if we actually listen to our body's signals, we'll never go that far astray. So that literally could be, I want that pizza. Or actually, like, I don't really want that pizza. Or like, yes, to that chocolate cake. But you know what? I just ate half of it and I'm actually like pretty full. Like it's now becoming too sweet. Like I don't want any more. And so when we actually start to listen and honor what's so, it's so much easier to not do this mega swing that we have to like, do all sorts of like extra, like paddling hard, back paddling to kind of start to come back to where we once were. All right. So it's not that big a deal. And when we can do that, it's something where we don't kind of get into this like in for a penny, in for a pound business. Well, because there's pizza in front of me, therefore I must eat as much as humanly possible. And it's like, do you actually want it? Yes, great, have some. Have you had enough? Yes, great, stop. Do you want more? Yes, great, keep going. Like, I'm still hungry, but I know I don't want to fill up on pizza because I've got a goal going on. And it's like, okay, like what else might you might wish for? Like, this conversation with ourselves can be far more gentle and compassionate and kind and soft and really reasonable than what typically goes on when we're aiming to change our size or shape. Okay? And then maybe just kind of like under that same umbrella is that like food that's bad for us is not always something that feels good to eat. And often when it's like, you know, I've been released into the world and I have all these opportunities in front of me, maybe you want to take action on it and maybe you don't. And the truth is, like deep fried, you know, whatever it might be, or like, you know, crazy cocktails, like maybe that is the best idea ever, and maybe it's not right now. And so the more, again, you actually think about how you feel, what feels best, we tend to make better decisions for ourselves that result in us having more of what we want. All right? And then maybe lastly, I'll just say, like, if you decide to just, you know, take your hands off the wheel, and when you're like out of your routine, like you do things that are 100% different than when you are at home, great. Like just get back on the horse. Like just get back to business at hand. The majority rules. And so even if it's a month, like literally, even if it's 2 weeks, even if it's a week, even if it was a long weekend, even if it was a big night out, it doesn't matter. What matters is just getting back to business at hand, because the majority rules. All right? And so please don't like put yourself in this like, you know, cycle of self-punishment where you think like, well, since I kind of, you know, strayed, all is lost. All is never lost. This is something I say to my fat burners often. If people like hit a bump in the road, you know, go away and do things that are non-fat burning supportive, it's like, does this work? Has this worked for you? Does this make sense to you? Does this work in your life? Does this feel easy to do? Yes, yes, yes. Are you dead yet? No. Do you still want what you want? Yes. Just get back on the horse. Don't worry about it. All right? That's it. I hope that was useful. Please check out the 5 parts of fat burning if you are unaware of the fact that there is a different fuel that you have the ability to burn that improves health while reducing your waistline comfortably, naturally, easily, slows aging, creates a far better hormonal profile, saves time, saves money, and is really freeing. And the truth is, it gives you more wiggle room in the world. It's easier to indulge more in the shit that it's like, oh, this is delicious, but like probably not amazing for my waistline. It's harder to gain weight and it's easier to lose it when you're in a fat burning mode. And that's pretty freaking freeing. All right? Don't need to be perfect to experience progress. And that's exciting. Anyway, I hope this was great. Please be in touch for any reason. Love to all. And until next time.